Stuff like this doesn't happen. Not in the real world.
The soundstage, a dark and blood-soaked kill room.
Something terrible happening there.
The props, a steel pipe, a butcher's toolkit.
There was blood all over the table. There was blood spatter on the floors.
After the lights go out and the director calls action, will it be a narrow escape or a Dexter kill come to life?
My family might not ever see me again.
The warm summers and frigid winters of Edmonton, Canada. The setting for a horror story as chilling as any from Hollywood, and a place where lonely heart Gilles Tétrault would meet a real-life monster.
You know, it was really hard to meet people, especially in a new city. So I decided to try this online dating thing.
Still stinging from a recent divorce, Gilles looks for other hopeful singles on the dating site Plenty of Fish, and reels in what looks like a winner.
And what was her name?
Well, on her profile, her name was Spider Webs. But then once we started chatting, she told me her name was Sheena. She was really forward very quickly. Like, she started asking me what my plans were for Friday.
But when Friday comes, Gilles discovers the directions to Sheena's house are as mysterious as her dark and smoky eyes.
The best thing for me to do is to just park into the driveway in front of the garage, and then she'd leave the garage open for me, and then I can go through the garage into the backyard and then knock on her door in the back of the house.
What were you thinking of all this?
Oh, I didn't trust it at all.
If they're first date jitters, Gilles shakes them off and follows Sheena's precise directions.
How'd you enter?
I turned the truck off, and then I went and crouched underneath and came back up into the garage, and I kind of paused for a bit there and then kind of looked around.
As his eyes adjust to the darkness, Gilles sees his virtual hookup become a real-life date with terror.
That's when somebody came out of somewhere and attacked me from behind. And all of a sudden, I see this guy, he's hovering over me, and he's wearing this painted-up hockey mask. Every nightmare I've ever had, every horror movie came back to me, and I got shivers down my back.
More than shivers. The masked man is jolting Gilles with 800,000 volts.
And he kept prodding me with the stun baton all over my upper body. I just actually grabbed at the end of it and I pushed it away from my body just so that he wouldn't prod me everywhere else, right?
Then Gilles' blood runs cold as he looks deep into that hockey mask.
And that's when he actually took a gun out and he pointed at me and I just froze. I'll never forget his eyes. They were crazy. I knew just by the look in his eyes that he was gonna kill me that day. He ripped out a piece of duct tape and he covered my eyes with it, so now I couldn't see anymore.
Gilles feels like he's walked straight into a slasher movie.
It was the scariest moment I ever felt in my life.
But this is all too real.
That's when everything just started slowing down. It was like life flashed before my eyes. And then I realized if I don't do anything, my family might not ever see me again.
Gilles' heart pounds in his chest. He knows he has just one chance to live through this.
That's when I ripped the duct tape off my eyes. And then I rolled under the garage door. I start to try to run, but all of a sudden, my legs were like jello. It wouldn't work.
It's the stun gun's late hit, knocking him to his knees.
Then I started to crawl down the driveway, and then he came right after me. Then he grabbed my legs, and he started dragging me back to the garage. And I thought I was dead because I'm like, it took me all this time to think of a way on how to escape, and now I'm gonna have to do it all over again. I had run out of ideas. I just didn't know what was gonna happen.
Summoning a last shot of adrenaline, Gilles once more wrestles away from his abductor's iron grip.
I put everything I had into my legs, and there's a couple walking their dog. So all I could get out was, there's a man after me, he's trying to mug me, please help me.
A miracle, or so he thought.
And that's when the masked man came out and almost ran into them. He started to pretend that we were best friends. And he said, come on, Frank, let's go back to the garage.
The startled couple refuses to help, but the attacker is spooked and slinks back into his lair. It's just the chance Gilles needs.
I could see his legs in the garage underneath the garage door, and he's pacing back and forth. So I started the truck, I slammed the door, and I put it in reverse all at the same time, and I drove off.
Nursing his wounds, Gilles struggles to understand what just happened.
So I went back onto the online dating website, and he had deleted the profile.
Sheena was gone.
Sheena was gone, yeah.
Feeling dumb and embarrassed, Gilles decides not to go to police, opting to tell friends and coworkers that he simply got mugged.
I felt that ashamed that I was even on the site, ashamed that I got duped from this girl that was a man. So I just didn't want to deal with it. I just wanted it to go away.
But it didn't go away. In fact, 1 week later, this saga would continue in a most horrific and gruesome way. Another man would answer the call for an online date with someone calling themselves Spiderwebs. But Johnny Altinger's episode wouldn't have a happy ending.
This man in a mask who attacked him wasn't just some prank gone wrong. This was something a lot more serious.
Coming up, the man in the mask returns.
At this point, I knew something was going wrong. Something was weird. Something was definitely not right.